I gave a little teaser about who you guys are, but let's do some quick introductions.
Yeah, Seth Larsen here. My title is Chief Relationship Officer. I'm a little non-traditional on the marketing side, but I have been involved in marketing over my tenure at Cheba Hut. I've been involved with the brand since 2006, one as an operator and one as a franchisor, so can speak knowledgeably from both sides. We're 77 units. We got 10 more openings this year, and we zig when everyone else is zagging.
I zig too. I'm Carrie Riley. Aroma Joe's, we've got about 122 units, mostly in the New England area. We consider ourselves a disruptor brand to the Starbucks and the Dunkin'. I used to work agency side for Dunkin' for about 9 years. I love the coffee space, and I'm an agency gal through and through, so I feel very, very bad for my agencies because I always start conversations with, as an agency person, I know what you're doing.
You are the client they don't want to have.
I am the client, but we pay well.
All right, so how do you guys in your respective brands balance this need for brand storytelling with the pressure to drive immediate transactions?
Yeah, I think it starts in the real estate search first. It's so on the front side. I just saw this thing from Dave's Hot Chicken where they brand their outside of their stores and they call it like the Reaper mode, so it's like the one that's way over the top. Those stores tend to produce 25% over benchmark on the sales side. So I think it starts with, the real estate and the build out. We do custom murals inside of our stores. We have a digital art library with 80 custom pieces that we've produced over the years. So that look and feel, I think, on the front side really sets the table for building that culture and executing at a high level for the next 10 or 20 years, however long you're at that location. So, I think that portion and then really being authentic. Everybody can smell a bullshit brand and you can't fake it. So really making sure that it's real and it resonates, I think is first and foremost.
One of the things I think was said earlier when we talk about paid, right? And we sort of laugh about Dunkin', great brand. Do I really think J-Lo was getting a glazed donut at Dunkin'? I don't.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, though, yeah. Perfect, right? Ben Affleck, perfect. We're in the coffee business. We have energy drinks. We're in the coffee business. There's a lot of people in this space. We've got to go true to our roots of it really is the people that are serving that handcrafted beverage that is the differentiator. There's just places people can go all the time. And guess what? We heard this all the time at Dunkin'. People would stop me and say, I don't really like the coffee, but I've been having it for years and it's what I like. So thinking that you're going to win on quality sometimes, it is the nostalgia of the brand and what they feel they're getting from the brand. And it's really, really hard when you work with your R&D that sometimes it's actually not the product. The product is not the way forward sometimes. It's the feeling that they get when each day they're going through a drive-through.
I mean, it taps into the inability to want to change, right? I mean, they've been consistently going to Dunkin' for 9 years. They're not going to go again. So how are you guys thinking about this brand marketing aspect to influence change when people may not get the best tasting coffee every single time?
Yeah, I think it was when you first kicked it off here and you're like, how many people order the same thing every time? And everyone raises their hand. I think it's really hard to get people to change their purchasing habits. I was talking with Morgan from Torchy's last night, and something that we've talked about forever at Cheba Hut. We do a 4-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch. The 4-inch is awesome because you can order a couple and then split them with your buddies. And we wanted to call it the Nug Up. But it's really hard to execute that.
Let's talk about being risky.
Yeah, and it's just really hard to execute that. So, I think sometimes the best ideas aren't the ones that get through. The last thing that we just promoted here was combos. It's something that we've done over the years, but it really lost its way. We don't upsell at the register. We don't order by number. That's just not who we are. But getting that instilled back into customers and crew members, I think is big. We do a chip drink, we do a cookie drink. I think our cookie's the best in the business. It's an all butter banger. And I think, and we do a Rice Krispie homemade in-house. So, pushing that behavior towards customers, as well as employees, and getting that back in like the general vernacular when you're ordering at Cheba Hut, I think is big. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Change is hard. Honestly, everyone who I've gone to high school or college with, I have the same outfits, different sizes, but pretty much, I stick to the pearls and the plaid. Our brand, we're a very young brand in terms of how we get them in. So we've got a customized energy drink. So when we really look at getting that 16 to 24, when I was at Dunkin', it was the fact of how do you get the younger? We've got the younger, how do we hold on to them? And that's a really hard message for franchisees. When you talk about who we're targeting, we don't have huge budgets. So when I look at the continuum of how I can get someone in the funnel and keep them there, it is not the 45-year-old. I'd like them, right? I'd like them to come over from competitor brands, but really being almost so focused on that 16, because if we can get them in, we know that we can keep them in the brand. And with our brand, we don't have intercoms. So that's one of our differentiators. When you're ordering, and we found this during COVID, if you were going out one time during the day, and it's so crazy to think about that, 5 years ago, people literally had one experience during the day where they talked to maybe someone besides their dog or their spouse. They actually had a human interaction with somebody that made their day better. That's the kind of feeling that we want you to always have with our brand.
Yeah. You guys both talked about authenticity. We talked about it with Sarah a lot. We have to balance that with what consumers want, right? Or at least what consumers say they want. So where does consumer insights or research play into your strategy?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I think it was said very well in the previous panel here. We have to be good stewards of the brand fund, and our franchisees are our number one customers, the operators. So I think you got to ask yourself, like, is this something that our franchisees and their employees actually want? If the answer is no, you got to keep moving. Even if customers are asking for it, if your franchisees don't want it and their employees don't want it, it's a really, really tough sell. So I think that that's really important. We've had a lot of misses over the years too. There's no doubt about that. And I think you learn more from your misses than your successes. One recent one that we rolled out, we did this awesome reusable cup, and it was Cup of Culture, and it was old school. We've been around for 27 years, so we have some awesome photos and art, and this cup was awesome, and we were doing free Kool-Aid giveaway. We're the number one Kool-Aid account in the country, 200,000 plus gallons a year.
You guys sell 200 plus thousand gallons
Yeah.
of Kool-Aid?
More than soda, more than tea combined, but it was a great idea, and I think that happens quite a bit. These great ideas that come up in the marketing and the culture side, and then the execution at the store level really, really struggle sometimes. The number one person that the head of marketing should be friendly with is the head of ops, to make sure that the rollouts go smooth and that the employees are bought in and franchisees are bought in. But it was an absolute failure. It was a big investment. The cup is cool. I have like 5 of them in my cabinet. But it was a miss at the execution level. So I don't know if that answered the question, but I just wanted to tell that story. Sorry. Yeah.
I think Mitch from DRM is over here like, I've been saying that I'm the best customer the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, finally, credit to the operators.
Yeah.
I think consumer insights are really important, and we don't know what we don't know. This is going to make me sound really old. I used to work with KB Toys, and what they didn't realize, do you guys remember KB Toys? I'm like, totally, thank you. I was going to really feel like an old fogey. They'd be in malls, and they'd be like, things would be jumping out, and what they realized when they did video surveillance is mothers with strollers were afraid to go in because they actually couldn't turn around on the aisles. So there was so much happening that if you were a mom with a toddler, the toddler is like spinning, and they're like, I'm not going in. So they simplified the store design. But then I also think of when we look at research, and I always think the McLean Deluxe is like the best example. When you fill out a survey and they say, do you want to eat healthy? What do we do? Absolutely. I want to eat healthy, I want to eat organic, cage-free. I care about these things. When I'm going to McDonald's, yeah, I'm getting the 10-piece chicken nugget, right? Like, I'm getting that Egg McMuffin with sausage. we had a Beyond Breakfast sandwich, right? Our consumers told us, we've got young consumers, vegan, right? That's what we want. I don't know where they were, but they weren't coming. They weren't coming in to our locations. But I'll tell you, our sausage biscuit with egg, #1 seller, and during that time continued to grow. Yeah. So you've got to take those insights, but then you do kind of have to put that no BS test of what we say that we want and what we actually purchase are a lot of times two very, very different things.
Yeah, I think that was a great point. And the meat analog industry is like absolutely decimated because what people were asking for is actually not what they were purchasing. Right. And I think there is I heard the gluten-free crust. We don't do gluten-free bread. We've been testing it for like 15 years. But we also are but it just doesn't make sense. I don't think it's a great product. I'm sorry if you're gluten intolerant. You're gonna have to eat a salad if you come to Cheba Hut or go somewhere else. But our pretzel nugs are delicious, but not gluten-free. So I think, trying not to be everything to everybody is really, really important. Focus on what you can really, truly compete on. And I think that's great. And I think just a quick nugget too on like pricing. We're not the cheapest by any means. We're not the most expensive on a per inch basis. We're actually cheaper than Jersey Mike's, but we don't discount ever. It's free or full price. We give away a lot of food. We do free Nug Day twice a year, typically at most locations. So, really trying to price your product. It doesn't have to be the cheapest, but you gotta deliver, I think, every time, right? You gotta deliver what you're competing on, and I think if you do that, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna have year-over-year interaction growth. Of course, you're gonna have sales growth because you're gonna take tiny menu price increases, but I think that's really important too.
Carrie, Seth talked about a time, like the cup instance, that was just a colossal failure, right? Like it didn't work out for them. Is there a example that you can share where you had some misses from an activation, and what were those lessons learned?
Never.
I am 100% perfect.
When you go down to the operator level, first year I was there, we did a thing called Beaniversary, and Beaniversary is a celebration of our bean, right? And so we really wanted to have the differentiation of getting the young, but letting the people that were those Starbucks, Dunkin' drinkers come on in. So we did this big campaign. In the second year, we were going to do these postcards, and you were going to give out postcards. The baristas were going to give out postcards, and then you were going to mail the postcard to your friend to come back in and feel the love, and that's great. We drove around to so many locations, and these poor baristas, these are young kids. They're just trying to get the drinks out the door. No one was giving anyone the postcards. And I was making family members go to locations. I was having people in corporate go to locations. I was irate. You ruined my program. And then you realize that, yeah, it was a great conceptual idea, but when you're in your, 8 to 10 time frame, when they're just trying to get cars through it, handing out a postcard, which seems so simplistic, it was just not operationally something they felt good about. And I don't think we did a very good job of explaining what the ROI was going to be. So we didn't get a lot of postcards back. It was really sad.
So both of you guys are in the C-suite, right? Like this fictitious title of Seth, Chief Relationship Officer, CMO,
It's
Carrie,
real.
we know exactly what that does. Yeah. When you guys are deciding yay or nay, like what are those factors that you're looking for to be like, yes, I want to do this, or no, we're going to have to pass this time, team member?
Yeah, I think since I've been with the brand for so long, and now I'm also an elder millennial. I'm on the tail. I'm an 81, so it's the very edge of that.
You are elder millennial.
I think it's important that some of the stuff that maybe I think is cool and is a home run gets run by some folks that are a little bit younger and hipper. So I think that's really important. That self-reference criterion is really a slippery slope. And, stuff that was cool 10 years ago might not fly today, so.
I think like the word fly is
Yeah,
one of those examples.
yeah, exactly, yeah. It's not fly, yeah. I think, really leaning on some of the younger generation. We have some really great young up-and-coming leaders, and that's been the joy of my career is scaling and bringing on folks that are significantly better than me in certain situations. That's how I end up with a title like this. And, really leaning on their expertise, I think, is big. But the tribal knowledge is real when you've been with a brand for so long, and sharing that while also coupled with, the real hard data points and insight from some younger folks that are in our office or in our system, I think is always big.
You slayed that.
Thanks. Yeah.
I gotta give that was well done, Carrie, well done.
I have a 19-year-old. She marginally thinks I'm cool. I think that's exactly it. Marketing strategy is marketing strategy. Having a business acumen, that is something that is so, so important. But one of the things we tell our franchisees a lot, especially when, we're presenting things on TikTok, is that if you think this is super weird and you're wondering what the hell we're doing, we just nailed it. Mm-hmm. And when I look at some stuff and I'm thinking like, what, guys, I don't get it. Cool. Right? And I'll show that stuff to kids, and we've got a lot of, young people in the office. But that's also why I love agencies. And I think that's also why people age out of agencies, is I look to my agencies to really be on the forefront. We know the turnover in agencies, it happens a lot. I like that. I want fresh thinking. I want to have them in the marketplace. I want people that can look at things in a totally different way. And I think as a 50-year-old, it was that weird transition where when I was in my 20s, I would be brought into client meetings because I was young. And I always felt like, I don't want to be young. You wanted to look older. And then in your 30s, you were kind of like, okay, like I look like I know what I'm doing, but I'm still kind of young. And then like you hit your 40s and you're like, oh shit. Like I'm the old one that they're looking at like, oh, that's so cute.
Come on, Grandma.
That's nice. But I think
let's get you back home.
Let's get you back home. Right? And before 9 o'clock, where people were last night, we're going out. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to my bed with my glass of wine, and I'll see you later. But I think if you really lean into strategy and business acumen, never goes anywhere. But we've got to get out of our egos of, listen, man, I'm not cool. I'm 50. And not because I'm 50, just I'm not in on those daily trends. Lean into the people that are. It's not taking anything away from what you're doing in your role. It's just leaning into the people that know what your consumers want.
Yeah. I love the term tribal knowledge, right? And you brought it up. Seth, you've been with the brand for so long. Carrie, you've been in coffee for so long. How do you guys just get out of your own way? Like, how do you, in your job, say, hey, I know we've tried this 14 different times. Like, what tactics really worked for you to kind of break out into that change management?
Yeah, I have a note on my monitor at the office that says, don't be the bottleneck. And I think that that's really big. We do have a good marketing team. We recently pretty much flipped the whole thing. And, I think our previous marketing efforts were so high on culture. And as marketers, you get to do the fun shit, but you first have to execute the X's and O's. And we had it completely flip-flopped. We were doing all of this fun, high culture stuff, but completely missing the X's and O's. So we just needed a change there. But we feel like we're really moving in the right direction. We got a great team, and we're executing the X's and O's and still doing the fun stuff. So I think that that's big. I think as a leader, you have to think about where you have the greatest good and the greatest impact, and focus your energies there. I just want to say a quick note on this conference. It's awesome. It's reinstilled my faith in restaurant conferences. It was just top notch. Like restaurant people and sales folks know how to have a good time. Restaurant marketers and restaurant adjacent sales folks really know how to have a good time. And it's been awesome. And I have really great things to say. So it's hard to invest this time. But man, what a great conference.
We
awesome.
have like one more day, right?
Yeah.
We're not going on. No one could leave after that.
Yeah.
Still in my bed at 9. Moving on. With wine. And my macadamia nuts, living my best life. So I think what's really interesting is when you get out of the zone of what you like, right? Like I'm a brewed coffee gal, black coffee. I do a quadruple shot Americano every morning. Our core audience is so different than we look at say 15, 20 years ago when I started in the coffee business, they can make a $9 latte in a second. You look at those young guys, and I'm telling you, they are not getting the brewed coffee. I'm gonna be so surprised. Starbucks, they're leaning into it, and I would not lie, they've got millions and millions of dollars to do that research, so I'm not saying that I know something they don't know, but I am gonna watch it, because brewed coffee year over year, it's just a little bit of something. You can brew a really great cup of coffee at home. You can. But you can't really make a great cappuccino unless you've really invested in some great stuff. Even though Nespresso says it, you're not getting it. So I think remembering that what was cool 15, 20 years ago and how people's flavors and what their patterns are changed is what keeps you relevant.
Last question before I will open it up to the crew. What's keeping you guys up at night?
Everything. Menopause, but is that not? is that not what we're? Oh, okay.
That would be an appropriate time to drop the mic.
Okay, cool. I think AI truly, because I think being part of the C-suite is super cool, but I also know that we've got not just in our organization people that go to conferences and they come back and they're like AI. I'm like, cool. In what context? Right? AI is not going to replace us. It's going to make our jobs easier. Googling stuff didn't replace good thought. It just made it easier to get information. And it's just a crazy world when we think about where it's going to go, and not knowing where it's going to go can be a little bit scary, but I think it's super fun, right? Unfortunately, I started when we used to launch websites. You would have big releases of I've got a website. And we thought that was going to fundamentally change the world. It didn't. We adapted. And I think with AI, it'll be great to see in 2-3 years what we've adapted to.
That's a great answer. I'm going to say consumer confidence. We just don't know where we're going to land here. And, I guess we're all in the business of people don't have to go drink coffee. They don't have to order subs from us or pizza from Papa John's, So I think that consumer confidence piece is really important. And I think, but it just reaffirms that you should focus on the things that you do really well, because when there are uncertain times, people go back to the brands that they know, love, and trust. And I think it can be an opportunity as opposed to a threat. Yeah.
Questions from the audience?
And Carrie, instead of hot flash, you could have gone with meat sweats.
That is true.
That's where I was, yeah.
Oh, I'm going this way. Hold on.
I think somebody needs to do a meat sweat menopause campaign, right? Mitch, can you make that work for Arby's? Thank you.
Oh, hi, Jill, GSTV. I'm the question girl. Carrie, you brought up AI, and this came up at our sales conference recently. I agree. I think it's a great tool for marketers, salespeople, but specifically for you guys, what do you think is either the greatest add or the greatest help, or what are you concerned about in regards to AI, specifically for restaurants? Because that's a very specific category. I know, healthcare, government, there are different benefits and cons, but for you guys, either you can think of a plus or a con that you are concerned or excited about that could help.
I think when we look at AI in terms of ordering, I'm fascinated by it because we want more interaction with the consumer. And if AI can help make what the order is easier and they can have more of that interaction, I love that. But even as a marketer, I would like to spend and have my team spend less time on what I would consider formulaic that we can really get from AI and more on the creative part of it. Right? I think AI gives you nuggets that you think of and it's like that thought starter. That's what I'm really excited about. What I'm not excited about is people are leaning in that AI is going to fundamentally change everything. Yeah, it is to an extent, but we should be super excited about it. And I think when you hear people say it's going to replace all these jobs, it's not. It's going to shift the jobs. We're going to use different parts of our brain, and that's okay. It should be so exciting. We shouldn't be so afraid.
Yeah, I would say that was a great answer. I would say what I'm a little concerned about is the stuff that you put into AI becomes not yours anymore. And I'm fearful, not fearful, I'm concerned that everyone is gonna have the same viewpoint and the same stuff, because it's all coming from the same source. So I think, like, you know, putting out dope stuff as a brand is really important, and if it's all coming from AI, it's just that everyone's doing the same thing, you know, and it's like, ugh, I don't know. That'd be my concern.
I don't think people say the word dope anymore.
No, but that was a fly
I don't-
answer for sure. Here's one right
That's
here.
a hill I will die on. I will die on it. Yeah.
Alex Redmond from Microecology. Seth, fellow Coloradan here, huge fan of the Cali Mist. Great sub. I'm curious when it comes to brand marketing in various like unique locations, right? Colorado being unique to Cheba Hut because Cheba Hut very cannabis centric. When you expand outside of Colorado, obviously cannabis is expanding across the country. You have 4 or 5 locations here in Texas, which has their own relationship with cannabis. How do you shift or think about brand marketing as it pertains to these unique locations? And how do you execute those? Do you have regional activities? Do you stay true to the brand because the brand voice needs to be authentic, as we use that word so often? But how do you think about that in these unique locations with your edgy brand?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all. I think we can go a little more weed forward in certain markets, and then in some other markets we can dial it back and just build like awesome-looking restaurants. Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. You know, I think some stuff that might play, I'll just give an example. So 420 is our biggest holiday, and it's coming up. It's
I'm
our busiest
shocked.
day of the year. Yeah, on average, a store will do $15,000 every store, so it's a big sales day for us. It lands on Easter this year, and
What would Jesus do?
so we.
I think Jesus would smoke.
Yeah, so we have, so I have some really awesome ideas that might play well in certain areas, but maybe not in like San Antonio, which is a Catholic city, yeah. One of my ideas was our mascot is Flip the bird, so it's Flip, and his name's Flip, it's Flip the bird. And I wanted to do a sticker with Flip, and it was, he has resin. And I got outvoted on that one, but yeah. So I just think on certain in certain markets you can definitely tweak your message, but you can still be unapologetic about who you are. You know, we've always put food first and foremost. So when you make great food and you provide genuine hospitality, you're going to be successful anywhere. In all honesty, our highest volume stores are in suburbs in conservative markets. So it works, yeah.
Oh, Seth, Carrie, thank you guys so
Sorry.
much.